Get higher, baby. Get higher, baby. Get higher, girl. Hey.
Two, one, go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan Knight. I'm joined, as always, by my brother Bo Knight, and we are the Knights of the Pageless Library. And today we're here to talk about the book Airborn by Kenneth Oppel.
And I'm sorry we pronounced it wrong last time, and I'm sure all three of you were yelling at us, but we're sorry.
All three of you, yeah. I'm pretty sure I said Opal. So
I
sorry there,
definitely
Kenneth.
have been this whole time.
Yeah. Every time I mention your name, I say it Opal. But when I listened to the book this last time, they definitely said Oppel. So I'm assuming they are correct.
And I even said, what? They're saying it wrong.
Yeah, so before we get started real quick, we just want to throw out a couple spots. Anybody can get a hold of us if they'd like to. We're still waiting on our first email.
Hate mail.
We're waiting patiently for that. And if you'd like to be the first one to send that in, you can send it to kotpl.pod@gmail.com. Get a hold of us on Twitter at Knights of the Pageless Library, Facebook, Knights of the Pageless Library, and should you choose to leave a like, comment, and subscribe over on YouTube, you can get a hold of us over there at Knights of the Pageless Library. And yeah, so with that, let's just jump right into this one. But what do you think about Airborn?
So Airborn, yeah, it's by Kenneth Oppel, as Ryan said, and this is kind of a dramatization, but not really. It's just each character has their own voice actor. So
yeah, we'll get into it a little bit more after I think the spoiler wall. But yeah,
I just think we gotta talk about though.
Yeah, this is definitely. It is, but it is not a dramatization. So, whereas like the Treasure Island one is like listening to a movie, this is definitely like narrated, and then like Bo said, each character has their own voice, which, in my opinion, is the perfect way to do this.
Yeah, I think it's really well done.
Yeah. And I think after we get past our spoiler wall, I'll talk about why I think this is a far better way to tell a story than even a dramatization is. So this book, it was, let's see. Oh, I'm being very unprofessional now. It was written by Kenneth Oppel in 2003, and it was published by Full Cast Audio in 2007. And this is where the each character having their own voice kind of comes from. I'm assuming this Full Cast Audio does most of their books this way, with just a large group of people reading a book, and it's they do a very, very good job.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And as always, we got this on Audible. It is, so you can get it right now. Actually, it's free if you try Audible, you get it for free. If not, it's only $7.99. And how long is it?
This is $7.99 on what you're seeing. I'm seeing it for $31 on Audible.
Oh, I'm not seeing it for that much. I could buy it right now. Oh, I guess it is. You're right. It is $39, but for some reason it's giving me a discount.
Oh, interesting. This book is 10 hours and 45 minutes long, so it's a pretty long book. And it is book 1 of 3 in a series, actually, and the series is called Matt Cruz. So I actually didn't know that, but now I'm really looking forward to getting the rest in this series and listening to them as well. And for some reason, it's in the category it's under is teens and ages 11 to 13, which is a little weird in my opinion.
I mean, it is kind of a kid's. I get like kind of like Harry Potter vibes a little bit, but I would say like if you were going into this expecting it to be like a kid's book, it definitely takes kind of a turn at a certain point.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no cursing or anything in it, but
no, and actually, I didn't even notice, but you're right, they don't curse at all.
No, they don't curse at all. So I mean, I'm assuming that Kenneth Oppel was trying to keep these things for like a younger group. I mean, that's kind of what it says on his Audible bio, is that he's known for numerous books for young readers. Now, I could see how this book would be geared towards that, the kind of sense of adventure type thing. But this is, in my opinion, this is definitely a listen for adults to really kind of wrap your head around this one.
Yeah, it does have a lot of heavy subject matter too, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of like the major like themes and stuff I think would go over small like younger listeners' heads. So I don't
Sure.
really think it's a children's book either.
Right. And I mean, I could definitely see how this would be exciting for like a teenager for sure, but I definitely don't think any younger than that for at all.
No, maybe like 14.
Right.
I don't know, or 12. I don't know. How old? What did I like when I was 12? I don't even remember. Probably listened to worse, honestly.
As I said to Kenneth Oppel, his line of books, this is kind of a theme of his, and we'll get into it a little bit more after we cross our spoiler wall, but I think he writes quite a few books of this kind of story. As we said before, This Dark Endeavor was also by him, and same kind of tone of story as this one is, in my opinion.
It really is.
Yeah,
and I
which
think the pacing is about the
with
same.
that. Yeah, and there's definitely nothing wrong with that. That reminds me, though, too, This Dark Endeavor, and especially the second book in that, is for sure not for, like, young listeners.
No, dude, it deals with, like, the afterworld and stuff.
Sure.
Well, pretty much from the beginning.
I could kind of see how they get the young listener vibe out of it, because, like, in most of his books, his main characters kind of are, like, teenage years, and there's a lot
somehow
of, like,
they're
talking about
incredibly smart.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of like talk back and forth between them about like how they feel about each other and little stuff like that. So I think that is kind of probably the crowd.
Something that Kenneth Oppel kind of nails though when it comes to these books is like that, especially like in this, because like the narrator is a younger kid and he has like irrational thoughts and he's like telling you about his irrational thoughts that he's thinking, and I think that's really kind of good writing in my opinion.
Sure. No, I think the
main character is like, he's fallible, like he has weaknesses and stuff like that.
Right. And so on that note, as we said, the narrator of this story is a lot of people. It's the whole full cast audio family, to the point where pretty much every character has their own voice actor. So we can't really speak for each individual voice actor. But I will say for the main ones, the most voice we get probably is Matt Cruz's voice, whoever voices Matt Cruz. And I don't even know if I can pull that up right off the bat, because
it's David Kelly.
Is David Kelly the one who voices? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably it, since it says narrated by him. So he is also going to be kind of narrating the story to us as well. So we're going to get the most of his voice, both as the main character and as the narrator of the story in general.
Yeah, and I think he does a really good job, actually.
I think
he might be the strongest voice of them all, but I think there are no weak performances.
No, and I actually really like whoever it is that, and I really should look this up, and maybe we can put it in the show notes or something, because the full cast audio crew does an amazing job, and I can't think of her name right now, but whoever it is who does Elizabeth's voice does a fantastic job as well of really selling that character. And this is a thing too for me. This being a partial dramatization, and pretty much the only thing that makes it sort of a dramatization like we're talking about is it has a little bit of music thrown in, and then it also has multiple character voices. But for me, these characters from full cast audio who were reading this were selling the situation so much better in this book than even in full dramatizations that I've heard. Even going back to like our Alien 3 review. So in Alien 3 is a full dramatization. So you have, background noises and gunshot sounds and all this stuff. But for some reason, it still comes across as like layers of you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
Like, okay, oh, there's a gunshot noise, and then there's the sound of glass breaking, and then there's this guy also talking. So it almost feels very disconnected. Whereas in this, even though there is no background noise, the way these characters are talking to each other, I can fully picture where they are at, what conversation they are having in my head. It really does put me where this story is being told.
Oh yeah, it does a really good job about
Yeah.
at that, I think. And each character is like their voice gives them so much personality.
For sure, yeah.
And I think every voice actor does a really good job of like nailing the character perfectly.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I mean, this is a little spoiler, but it's not that bad. The cook Vlad is I think one of my favorite characters in any book because
Sure.
the guy that voices him is perfect.
Yeah, does a really, really good job. Definitely.
And even like the random people that they encounter are voiced well.
Yeah, and they're voiced by, as far as I could tell, different people for every single character within
Yeah.
the story.
I think there's only a couple that do more than one because I tried to listen really closely to the end like credits, then they tell you who does what.
Yeah, they tell most of the characters in the end credits. Although at one point they say like 6 or 7, and then they're like, and the rest of the full audio cast.
They do
So-
that too, which is fucking, which is like what? And I'm trying to look it up right now, like the full list of each character, and I can't find it on the internet either.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see if we can pull that up. Maybe we'll throw it in the show notes, just because it is a very long list of people too. But just know that this story is good, but this story is made even better the way they did it, I think.
I agree.
I'll go as far as to say that. So before we get past our spoiler wall and we actually start talking about the story, the genre of this book is a fiction kind of fantasy, but so I was actually going to ask you this, Bo, because it's not really a dystopian world.
No,
What would it?
So I like looked up the lore of this place. And
Okay.
so like the only difference in this world between this world and ours is the airplanes were never invented.
Oh, they were never invented. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's almost like that. That was going to be my next question. It's like an alternate reality instead.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. That makes more sense. But this is not like in the future though. Like this would take place like in our past, but still airplanes had never been invented.
Well, I don't know if it's past either. I don't.
The only reason I think that, well, I take that back, because when they're firing their guns at some point, I thought, oh, they're firing like because he says like I think he says blunderbuss at some point. So I'm picturing this old school gun. But then I'm pretty sure some guy fires like multiple shots from a pistol, which would lead me to believe it has, like a clip and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and he
I don't
doesn't
really
really ever describe the weaponry either.
no.
I don't know, but there is like a helicopter thing.
Yeah, the ornithopter, which
Ornithopter, right? That's what it's called.
ornithopter, though, I've heard of in multiple storylines, and to me, it's less of a well, I guess it would be kind of a helicopter, but it almost has like flapping wings instead of a rotor.
Oh, it like flies?
That's kind of the way I understood it.
Huh. Well, so yeah, I don't know the time frame. Then I don't know what it's supposed to be. Basically, airships.
Yeah. So when like I said, when we get past our spoiler wall, we'll talk about it. But yeah, just know that this is it's a kind of a fantasy setting, not super sci-fi, like not super unbelievable type stuff. This, to me, so how do you feel? I think this book is actually very easy listening for the most part.
It's super easy listening, I think.
Yeah,
The story's not very complicated.
No, it's not. And we actually thought this was a good follow-up to our last week's Treasure Island, because this is the way it's done and the way it's told is far easier to follow than the Treasure Island book for sure. So this is coming from a much better place. I think this one's easy if you are doing something, if you're busy while you're listening to this one and you miss a couple paragraphs or sentences, you'll be able to pick up what's going on when you come back in. So This one, if it wasn't clear already to this point, I'm definitely going to give this one a 2 thumbs up and highly recommended from me. So,
Yeah, I would recommend it as well. I think it's definitely worth your time.
I mean, $31 is a little steep for an 11-hour book, in my opinion. But if you have Audible and you have some tokens laying around, this one is for sure worth your credits because, yeah, very, very good book. Very, very good story. This one would be a good one for anyone who was gonna just felt like signing up for Audible and they were gonna get a free book with it. This would be a good one to start on, actually.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Although I would say you're going to get spoiled early on because don't expect all other audiobooks to be like this with a full cast of people.
Yeah, and if it is a full cast of people, usually it's not done this well.
Right. Yeah, this one is the exception to being done very, very well.
All right, you ready to move on to spoilers?
Yeah, let's pass that spoiler wall so we can talk about the story of this one.
So yeah, so the story of Airborn, it's told basically from Matt Cruz's perspective, but like as we've said before, when other characters talk, they have their own voice.
So, and I want to touch on this just for a second because I think this is very important. So, when we were talking about like Treasure Island, where it is a full dramatization, that would be like listening to a movie. So, you're listening to two characters talk very rarely, and I know in some dramatizations they do some tricks where they make sure each character says the other character's name so that you're getting the names, but it gets very confusing with that because you're expected to know who's talking based on their voice. With this book, with Matt Cruz as our main character, he also, as I said, is our narrator. So he might say something, but then he'll go into narration and he'll say, you know, I told, it'll be him talking and then, Vlad said this, and then Vlad will talk, and then we'll go back to Matt Cruz narrating. Vlad had this and this. He'll give us an overall picture of the scenario instead of just these two people are talking. Like,
yeah,
this is an incredibly interesting way and a well done way for the book to be told with the narration. Even though the whole story is told from Matt's eyes, it's really nice to have that overall narration to fill in the rest of the environment around us at every single point.
Right. And so Matt he works on the airship Aurora, right? He's the cabin boy. How old? He's like 15, right?
I think that's exactly how old he is. I think he's 15.
Nailed it. So yeah, he's 15 and he like loves airships and loves everything to do with it. He was actually born in the air. And so he's really nimble and he can like do everything that needs to be done on the airship. He's just like amazing at everything.
Right.
And everybody loves him, of course, because he's Matt Cruz.
Yeah, lighter than air.
Yeah. And so the book starts off right when he's like on watch and he's kind of describing the airship, and then they run into like this balloon, right? Or is it a blimp?
Yeah, he sees it, and it's actually so he's on watch at night, and he sees something off in the distance, and it's a balloon, like basically a normal hot air looking balloon is what it is, and he alerts the captain that there's a vessel off in the distance, and we should state that the Aurora is a like luxury cruise liner airship.
Right. It's like, I imagine, but like it would be like a cruise ship if they did not allow any poor people on there.
Correct. Only rich passengers. Yeah, that's what I mean. It is like the top of the line luxury cruise liner in the air.
And some of my favorite parts of the book are just like him talking about like all the stuff the crew does like behind the scenes that the passengers don't see.
Oh yeah. I kind of like that too, actually. Because I always thought that was interesting when I hear people talk about going on a cruise in real life. Yeah. I'm always like, man, you don't know how hard that the actual crew of that cruise liner is working to make your trip nice. Like,
Well, I mean, he even talks about a couple different times that there's like passageways through the ship, so they can't go into the crew, like where the crew is, like the passengers can't even run into them. I like that.
Yeah, the crew moves about, which I think a cruise ship is basically like that too. The crew moves about in such a way that the passengers never see them because they're supposed to be out of sight, out of mind.
Okay, so we'll get back to like the main setup, right? So they see this balloon, they like try and hail the guy, but they can't get a hold of him. And so they decide to go like rescue him because his balloon's going down really, really slowly.
Yeah.
And so for some reason they send freaking 15-year-old Matt Cruz over there to save this guy.
Yeah, they like try to get close and they're gonna hook this thing and bring it on board. And Matt Cruz is the only one who can jump across. Basically, they swing him out there with their davit to grab it,
Yeah.
which is just crazy.
So and then he finds this old man, and the old man like asks him if he saw them, and then Matt Cruz is like, "Yeah, I saw him," and he's like, "No, you didn't, you liar."
Yeah, it's terrible. The old man's like passed out in the bottom of this thing, and he's like delirious.
And so then that old man ends up dying. And then how many years is it in between? Is it just one?
3. It's
3.
years.
Oh, so that makes him quite a bit older. I didn't realize that.
I think actually.
So he's
After the
12 at this time?
Maybe. I was thinking after the skip, he's 17 after the skip.
That
Because
makes
I thought
more sense.
I thought Baz was 18, and I think Cruz says something about him being a year older than him.
Yeah, he has to be 17.
That makes more sense. Like, it makes way more sense. Especially
Yes.
with the way his hormones are when he's talking. It makes
Dude,
way more
that's
sense.
that makes way more sense. You're right.
If we're
So, yeah.
wrong, please email us about it.
Yeah, please yell at us. Come at me. Not scared. So Matt Cruz, it cuts forward, and then they're just doing like a routine another like transport, and like when they're leaving, they like get held up by a passenger missed the airship, so they like have to wait for them to land with the ornithopter like we talked about earlier. And this is like one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about. Who is the main antagonist in this book?
Antagonist, like
Yeah.
going against the protagonist.
Yeah.
That's a good question, because Miss Simpkins would maybe be the first one that comes to mind.
You're pretty close, I think.
Do you think it's Kate?
Oh, it totally is Kate.
Yeah. I
Right
think I called her
when-
Elizabeth earlier. It's definitely Kate.
Yeah, Elizabeth is
DeVries.
from this Dark Endeavor.
I got confused. My bad.
Because her holding them up in the beginning starts all of their issues, I think.
That's very true, actually.
And then, like, we'll get to it later, but I think she's kind of like because this is kind of a love story between them, like it blossoms like right away. But I feel like she's kind of a freaking B word, dude.
Yeah, there is several times, especially listening to this again, I'm like, wow, this girl is so stubborn that she's like costing everyone things, not just herself, not just Matt.
She's stubborn and she's manipulative and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of So anyway, so Kate shows up and Matt gets to talking to her, and he finds out that she's actually on this trip because that was her grandfather that they found on the balloon. And she gives Matt his journal that he had, and Matt reads the journal and he finds out about these like flying mammals that never land supposedly, and they're like happening to fly over close to the same area where they found him, so they think they're going to be able to see them again.
Yeah, Kate is hoping that she can see what her grandfather saw, basically.
And everybody thinks her grandpa was a crackpot and he was full of shit, and
Oh yeah.
pretty much ridiculed him. And Kate DeVries comes from a very, very, very wealthy family.
Yeah, super rich family. So the Miss Simpkins I mentioned is her
Oh, yeah.
chaperone.
Yeah, and whoever
On the
voices
trip.
her does a really good job too.
Oh yeah, very, very good job.
And so they this is why I feel like Kate's the antagonist, because so them going slower, they kind of get caught in a storm, right? And while they're caught in a storm, Cruz is on watch and he notices it like an unmarked airship like closing in on them super duper fast.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and they get boarded by pirates. They get boarded by this little group of pirates, and what's his name? Spearglass.
Who the voice actor that does him does such a good job.
Yeah, he really does sell the character.
Him and Mr. Crumlin, who are both pirates, are amazing.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to why this is a great juxtaposition book for Treasure Island, because these guys are not your stereotypical pirates.
No,
They
not
are
at
like,
all.
number one, they're airship pirates, which is really cool. But
Yeah,
number two,
super cool.
their voices are not just the stereotypical. And
Yeah.
we're gonna make it walk
Yeah,
the plank.
Yeah, Spearglass doesn't freaking like come across with a parrot on his shoulder and a peg leg. Like he's like this suave, really smooth talking, like beautiful like man who
Right.
who is super confident and it's like, but he doesn't seem threatening though, like at first. But
Right. And
one
I
of the
love
guys,
I
yeah.
love that setup. I love that. You can go ahead and talk about it. I just really like the way they set it up and they describe him, the way he's talking and stuff is like that. Like he's getting everyone to like him basically.
Yeah. And then like they're talking and they're like, "We're so sorry to inconvenience you, but we need all your valuables."
Yeah. Yep.
But so one of the guys tries to send off a distress signal and they catch him, and Spearglass makes a freaking example out of him and shoots him in the head in front of everyone.
In front of everyone. Yeah. Just he's like, well, we cannot have this happening.
Yeah,
I
and
told
just
you.
blasts the guy.
Yeah. Just shoots the guy right in the head, point blank, in front of everyone.
Boom.
And it's like, whoa.
And this is why I think it's not really a kid's book, because it kind of gets way worse after this, but not right away. But
Yeah.
it gets worse. Like if you go into this expecting like everybody to be okay, it's not gonna happen actually.
No, and granted, while there's there's very little like kind of violence, it, and I mean, I'm not saying that you should shelter kids from all violence and stories, but yeah, that's why I said, teenagers for sure. But once you start getting younger than that, this is going to be, some parts are a little bit much, in my opinion.
And I think it's also important to mention that Cruz was up to advance in the airship and become a sailmaker,
Yeah.
so he could like continue to go up the hierarchy. But the guy that owns the company forced the captain. What's the captain's name?
Watkins,
Yeah, Captain Walk, also amazingly voice acted.
very, very well voice acted. Like, I could probably listen to, if that particular guy narrated every book, I would listen to it.
He has a really good voice. So yeah, Captain Walken was forced to take on this other. Oh, God, what is his name? I can't even remember him.
It is, oh man, why am I drawing a blank? Oh gosh, now I feel like an idiot. It'll
We
come
both
to
look
me.
Stupid.
Yeah,
Anyway, he took Cruz's position, and so Cruz obviously hates this guy's guts because he took his position for him. He didn't work for it.
Yeah,
But
so basically
that's
the way
kinda-
the guy who got the position over Matt is because he went to the academy and became a sailmaker through the academy. So he's very, like, Matt is mad because he's been working for like 3 years for that position, and this guy just comes on and gets it's Lunardi, it's Bruce Lunardi.
yeah,
That's his name. Yeah, so Bruce just gets to come on and take the position Matt was gonna get. It's also very kind of important to mention that Matt's family's poor as shit. So
Yeah.
it's Matt basically works so he can send money back home to his mom and his two sisters because his father, who was also on the Aurora as a sailmaker, died, and Matt is like their sole source of income as far as I can tell.
Pretty much.
That's another thing to mention too. It's not really important, but I thought that was interesting, and why this is kind of an alternate reality is because while they're clearly on Earth, like they're talking about Australia and the United States and Paris, they also talk about places like Lionsgate City and some other, the West China Sea, just other places that are not real but very easy to kind of mesh into the world we already know. I thought that was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, and this is probably, I mean, the other books are probably like opening up the world more would be really interesting. But so when the pirates leave, since there's a storm upon them, they like run into the Aurora with their propellers, right? And they like chop up the gas
they
bags.
they shred the
So
bags. Yep.
yeah, they're like gonna go down, and they just happen to stumble upon this island, and they land safely. Yeah, and they have like enough stuff to survive for a little while, but they have no way to call out so anybody can come rescue them.
Yeah, because the pirates smashed up all their radio equipment.
Right. All
And-
Kate's fault.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, and I didn't really think about it that way.
Well,
That
she
is a
just
good
gets
point.
worse from here.
So after they kind of crash land on this little island, too, we should also mention that these airships, they don't fly with like helium or hydrogen.
Oh, that's right.
They fly with this gas called hydrium, so which is kind of a combination of the two in name, but it's lighter than both of those things. So like he describes this ship when they're bringing it out from the dock, like two men can push it and move it along the ground, like to bring it outside. And this ship is huge. It's like 700 feet long.
Yeah.
So it's this giant ship, but because it's so light with this hydrium gas, it only takes like two men to move it across the ground, which is kind of cool. But
Yeah.
that comes up a little bit later in the story, which is kind of why it's important. I wanted to mention it.
Yeah. So they crash land, and then Kate gets it in her head that this is the island that her grandpa had found before.
Right.
And
Where
so
he
she
saw
wants,
these creatures.
yeah, so she wants to go exploring, and she basically freaking strong arms Cruz into doing it, even though like he's so loyal to the ship, he doesn't want to do it. But she just freaking is so persistent, and she just marches off into the woods by herself. And so he's like, oh, I can't let her. She'll die out here without me. I have to go help her.
Yeah.
Right, and so he helps her, and then that's when they find the skeleton of the one.
Yep.
Cloud cat, right?
Yep, that's what they end up calling him, as Cloud Cat. So basically, it sounds to me like it's a cross between like a white panther and a bat. So like,
Yeah.
it would be like a white panther that has really short back legs, but it also has wings like a bat. Those are like its arms.
Yeah.
And I picture it as being white, but it's like cloud colored, basically.
Yeah. That's why nobody had seen them before, is because they just look like the sky. Like they blend in really well from the air.
Yeah, and they also they're like migratory, but they mostly like live on this island for part of the year, and then they migrate away, and then they come back here to actually have. We forgot to mention this, that her grandfather mentions in his diary that he witnessed their little birthing ceremony where the females fly really high and then they birth their young, and their young fall, and they have to basically learn to fly in midair. And then they start flying, but one did not fly that he witnessed. It fell all the way to the island down into the forest.
Right.
And so they find a skeleton of one of these, and they think maybe that's what they found, is the skeleton of this one that fell.
Yeah, and I assume that is what they found. It doesn't really matter.
Right, but yeah, that's just kind of what they're thinking as they're. Either way, Kate is like, "Oh, this is the evidence I needed to prove my grandfather wasn't crazy." And you also kind of find out her alternative, or her ulterior motive here, is to be like the most famous female scientist. She's like, this will skyrocket my career to the top, and I'll be taken seriously as a woman.
Right, and that's why I think this is also not a kid's book. I mean, maybe it is, I guess, probably now, but because like it does deal quite a bit with like sexism and those kind of things, like
Sure.
women not being able to do what they want.
Yeah, and she says as much, for sure, is that, as a woman, it's like laughable for her to be a scientist. So
Right.
That's why she wants to discover something great, so that they'll have to listen to her and they'll have to take her seriously as a scientist.
So they go back to the ship, and they think nobody will notice they're gone, but obviously everybody's freaking out, and they like come back, and so then they're like, no, you guys can't leave again. But then so Kate like freaking convinces Cruz to go the next morning, but the way she convinces him, she's like, oh, I'll just take Lunardi with me instead of you, which
Yeah,
that really pissed me off. I was like, are you fucking
Yeah.
kidding me? That's so manipulative.
Yeah, man, that's a good point. She blackmails him so well, not even blackmails. Manipulate is the right word, because
Dude, just to get
she
what she
tugs.
wants.
Yeah, she tugs at his heartstrings so hard right there.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. It really
Kinda
pissed me
was.
off. I was like, oh my god, why do you even like this girl?
I know. She was kind of a bitch to him a lot.
Yeah, I know, it's freaking ridiculous. Yeah, so this is another thing, like why she ends up getting like this is another thing she does that gets them in freaking trouble. So yeah, they go out again, and they're like trying to. What do they go out for the next day for? I can't remember.
To recover the bones.
Oh,
They
that's
have to
right. They
carry 'em
didn't.
back.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't have anything to take them with them.
All she had was her camera the first time.
That's right. Yeah, they go back and they take the bones and they label them. But while they're out there, they actually run into one of the cloud cats on the ground.
Yeah, they see one, and
Right.
they quickly find out this is the one that fell that they see,
Yeah.
because it's like running through the trees, and it'll jump and like glide to another tree, but one of its wings won't fully open, so it clearly can't like flap and fly. It can like jump and glide, but when in her grandfather's diary, that's how he described it when it fell, is one of its wings wouldn't open, and that's why it fell.
Right.
But so now this is a clearly fully grown 3-year-old cloud cat that's now basically got the run of the mill in this jungle. And like I said, we're talking like a full grown like panther with wings. So
And then, is it the snake that chases them into the cave?
yeah, the little red jumping snake.
Yeah, so they run away from this little snake thing, and they go in
It's
this
kinda-
cave to hide. And
kinda
while they're in
funny.
the cave, they notice it smells like mangoes,
Yeah.
but they don't really think of anything of it. And then, so they go back to the ship. Obviously, they're in more trouble this time because everybody noticed they were gone again.
Yeah.
And so they actually lock Kate in her room, right?
Yeah. Yep. She's forbid from leaving by Miss Simpkins.
Yeah, and then so she freaking drugs Miss Simpkins, Like- breaks out on her own to get pictures of the cloud cat.
Yeah, now she wants to get pictures of the cloud cat. Yeah, because obviously, the next step from having a fully formed skeleton is pictures of the real thing alive.
And I think while this is happening, this is when Cruz realizes, because they were going to cut up the ship, and he like was heartbroken over that the Aurora was going to get cut up. And so
Yeah,
he
that's
realizes that the cave that they went to had hydrium in it. That's why it smelled like mangoes.
Right.
And so they're able to refill the airship from that.
Yeah, because I thought that was so ex machina. They happen to be.
I know, right?
It's like rubber hoses ex machina, because they happen
yeah.
to be hauling a huge shipment of rubber hoses. So they just happen to be able to route rubber hosing all the way to this cave and back to the ship to fill them again with hydrium.
Yeah, it's super convenient.
Yeah.
And
But-
so they have to go look for Kate, and they know that Cruz is the only one that's going to be able to find her, but they send Lunardi with him to
Yeah.
go find Kate. Then they find her, and she's like up in this tree trying to take pictures of the cloud cat. And the cloud cat does eventually show up, but it's not as friendly as they thought it was going to be, and it attacks Lunardi and like tears up his leg.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And then
Again,
they run away
they-
from it, and they split up.
Yeah. They thought it was going to be kind of like, Kate was under the impression it was going to be nice. And I'm assuming because of like, the reason I pictured is because of like the color of it. It's very light colored. So you'd probably think like, oh, it must be friendly. But no, it's clearly a wild animal, a big cat wild animal nonetheless. Yeah. And it attacks Bruce like he's going to be its dinner.
Yeah, and so Bruce gets away, and then Kate and Matt are running away from the cloud cat, and they run into this clearing, and when they run into the clearing, they notice another airship is landing, and it's the pirates from before.
Yep. It's the pirates that attacked their ship from before. Yeah.
And they obviously can't run away because they saw them, and they don't want to lead them back to the Aurora.
Yeah, so Matt comes up with something like on the spot, and he like starts flagging him down, and he's like, just go along. He's like trying to come up with a story on the spot. He's like, we'll tell them that we were in a private chartered ship and we crashed, and he comes up with this whole crazy, elaborate, by the way, story on the spot to tell these pirates so that they won't go looking for the Aurora.
So yeah, the pirates welcome them in, and they pretend to be the Sky Guard, who I'm assuming are like the Coast Guard.
Yeah, I guarantee that's exactly what they're supposed to be like.
And so they like take them in, they bring them into their little pirate camp shanty town thing, and they like are the whole night basically they're like interrogating them about their story, right, to make sure there's no inconsistencies.
Yeah, and then
But
they split
they're
them up.
Yeah, they do split them up, and they're giving them mango juice. But Cruz starts to realize the mango juice is alcoholic, and they're getting drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like spiked.
And they think they get away with it, and then they make a plan to escape. But then they make Mr. Cruz gets to sleep with Spearglass and Mr. Crumlin, like in the same room in a hammock.
Above. Yeah, so that was pretty smart on Spearglass's part. It's like bunk bed hammocks, and Cruz's hammock is above Spearglass's hammock. So clearly there's no way he can leave the room without Spearglass knowing.
Yeah, and I don't know if you ever try to get out of a hammock. It's hard.
Yeah. I like too how Matt describes it, like when he jumps into it, he's like the wood creaks like like nobody's business, and it's hard to get into, and that was pretty interesting.
So Matt like does this amazing maneuver, and he's like able to sneak out of the room without waking anybody up, and he goes and waits in the woods.
He's lighter than air.
See, so it's Kate's fault the pirates attacked him in the first place. It's Kate's fault they even run into the pirates because she wanted freaking pictures of the Cloud Cat.
Yep, it's Kate's fault they get captured.
Yeah, it's Kate's fault they get captured. and at dinner, Kate's like screwing up. She's like talking about how rich her father is, and so he's worried. He's like, oh my god, they're gonna keep her and try and ransom her, and she won't shut up about how rich he is.
Yeah, because she's getting drunk.
Because she's fucking stupid. And she is like literally the biggest antagonist in this book. Like I could see why you think it was the pirates, but the pirates are just being pirates. Kate's just being a bitch.
Yeah. That's very true, actually.
Oh, so Cruz does this amazing like sneak maneuver. He gets out of there completely silently, and he waits for Kate like almost till the morning time. He notices she's not there. He does amazing more sneaking, finds where Kate's sleeping, where Kate is supposed to be. He goes in there, and she's fucking dead ass asleep.
Oh yeah, she fell asleep.
And he wakes her up, and they go to leave, and they leave, and Spearglass is like right in his face.
Well, yeah, because Spearglass is like, like I said, he purposely put himself so he would know if Matt escaped. And then
Matt would have got away if he didn't have to go back for stupid Kate.
Yes, Matt would have got away by himself. But then, because he had to come back, Spearglass is like, oh, I thought I recognized you. Yeah. He's like, you're from the Aurora. Or you're from that. He doesn't know the name of the ship, but he's like, you're from the whatever cruise ship we raided. So now they're in big trouble. Because now Matt's like backpedaling, and he's like, no, the Aurora sank. You guys gutted us when you took off. Like, we're the only ones here. He's like trying to save face.
Yeah, so Spearglass figures out where the Aurora is, and they toss them in the Hydrium pit.
Yeah, so and Hydrium, while it's not like toxic or anything, it displaces the oxygen. You can't breathe it, you know, like oxygen. So yeah, they fall in this Hydrium pit, and they hit the bottom, and Matt falls down, and he realizes once he falls to the ground, there's enough air next to the ground, enough oxygen for him to breathe without passing out.
Right.
And then he comes up with this crazy cool plan. Unless you want to tell it. You want to tell it?
I don't think it's a crazy cool plan. He just captures some of the Hydrium in freaking not Elizabeth. Oh my god.
Kate.
Jesus, you got me doing it.
I know, my bad.
They are like the same character to be fair, except for Elizabeth isn't a bitch.
To be fair, yes.
Exactly. So they catch some Hydrium in her pants, and they're able to float up to the top, and there's a hatch up there, and they let themselves out.
I thought it was a good idea.
It is a good idea. It's just
dude, it's because Matt's lighter than air, man. It's the whole point of the story every time.
Matt is cool, but I wish he would have just left Kate in the hole.
Well, that's true. Yeah, took her pants and ran.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, he takes the pants off her and just goes by himself.
Just some like Mary Poppins scene. He's like flying off. He's flipping her off as he goes.
He's giving her the bird as he should, because she's the worst. Dude, seriously, I feel like everything that went wrong in this book is because of her.
It really is, and I didn't really think about that until you're actually saying it now. And you're absolutely right. It
Dude,
really,
like,
a lot of it is
especially
her
because this is like
fault.
the third time I listened to it, and I was like, all of this is Kate's fault. Literally all of it.
Yeah, that is a good point.
And Matt's just thinking with his dick, and he's freaking helping her out.
100%, by the way, because this, exactly like you said, like, she is manipulating him by being like, if you won't do it, I'll just ask some other guy to do it.
Yeah.
So Matt's like, no, I want it to be me. I want to be that guy. So
yeah,
that's
she's
the only
like
reason he
tugging at his
does it.
heartstrings.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
such a bitch, dude. Ugh. So yeah, they go back to the Aurora, and they find that the pirates are already on it, and they like pulled up all the gangways and stuff. Right? There's no way to get on it because the
Yeah.
Aurora is pretty much full.
Yeah, the
Of
Aurora
hydrium.
was fully repaired and full of hydrium. They were actually planning on like taking back off that afternoon or something like that.
Right, and so, and there's like only 6 pirates on the ship, and they happen to run into Lunardi too. He's like on the outskirts, and he like gives them the lowdown about what happened.
Yeah, and he's all jacked up now.
Oh yeah, his
freaking-
leg is super bad.
Yeah, it's like super infected where this cloud cat raked him up. So yeah, Lunardi's pretty much worthless.
So Matt Cruz, does he sneak on the ship? Yeah, he sneaks on the ship by himself first to get some medical supplies for Bruce.
Yeah, they
Yeah, he
fix
gets-
him up.
Yeah, they fix him up, and then they all go back on the ship, and they like kind of concoct this plan to like try and sabotage the pirates before the rest of them show up, so that they can overpower them and get out of there before the rest of the pirates end up
Yeah,
taking
It
the
was
ship.
like when Matt and Kate were coming down to the Aurora, they saw one pirate go running away, and Matt was like, "Oh, he's a scout. He's the only one who's seen it." So he's like, "We'll get on the ship and we'll take off. No big deal." But really, in reality, like 9 pirates showed up to begin with, and they sent one pirate back to go get the rest. The other like 20 of them or whatever it is. So there's 8 pirates on board when Matt and Kate and Bruce get back on board.
And so they concoct this plan they're gonna poison the pirates because they're making the chef make them food while they wait for the other guys. So they put a bunch of sleeping potion or whatever in the soup that Vlad's making.
Yeah.
And they eat it, and then they plan like while all the pirates are sleepy, they're gonna like they go to like an auxiliary system of the ship, right, to pilot it.
Well, yeah, so they're gonna cut the ship loose, so that way the rest of the pirates can't get on board, and the pirates that are already on board, they're like, they'll be tired, we'll be able to beat their ass, basically, is what they're thinking, even though the pirates all have guns. So
Yeah, and that's when like Kate's like, we'll just kill him. You're like, are you kidding me?
yeah,
Like, we're gonna kill the trained killers?
yeah, who all have guns, and I like how he's like, we'll use the ship's gun, which reminds me of like from Hot Fuzz when they use the one gun above the bar.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That's it's like the only gun that they can come across. That's when he's like, we'll use the ship's gun, and the other guy's like, no, they already took that. The pirates stole that too.
One thing that kind of bothered me about like the whole book is like, okay, if pirates are because people know about Spearglass, so if he's notorious enough that people know about him, why wouldn't they have any measures to defend themselves?
Yeah, they would, because like even when I was in the Coast Guard, like I mean, and obviously the vessels I was on were military, but even they weren't designed to like fight, but you still had weapons on board, all of them. So
Yeah.
For sure, a cruise ship is going to at least have all of the crew is most likely going to have access to weapons.
Well, especially like if pirates are a real thing that you run into enough that people know this guy's name.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would say, especially like probably not cruise ships, like an American cruise ship that's just going to be going up and down like rivers or like close to the coastline. Probably not. But definitely if you're going in international waters, yeah,
Right.
They'll probably have armed guards at the very least.
Yeah, you would think. Like I thought that was weird. They have one gun. Are you kidding me?
That is a good point.
So they sneak on the ship, and they poison the guys, and then they're like trying to get control of the ship and start flying it away, and then they realize Speargrass took control of the ship from the oh my god, freaking cockpit. Is that what it's called?
It was called like the control car in this. because it like hangs underneath the ship.
Right.
It's like you'd see in like a Zeppelin. So it's the control car.
Right. So he takes control from there and is flying it, and that's when Cruz remembers that. Oh yeah, Spearglass, he doesn't like fish, and Vlad was making fish soup. So
Right.
yeah, so he obviously didn't eat it. So he's very awake.
Yeah, and now Cruz is like, oh man, my plan sucks. He's like really doubting himself. He's like, I like that one part where he has some like inner monologue. He's like running, but he's like, God damn it, you're such an idiot.
Yeah.
This is not gonna work. You're so stupid. Why are you doing this? Like
And then they run into the pirates, and the pirates like start to overpower them, but then they start to notice they're getting like sleepy and really lethargic. And while they're fighting them, the frickin' Cloud Cat just shows up.
Yeah, I didn't really fully. Oh, I didn't fully understand it. Other than no, I didn't really understand why the Cloud Cat came on the ship. Did you?
Because it smelled like fish. That's the only
So
thing I got.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why Kate says.
Shut
so
up,
they
Kate. Nobody cares.
They drop two of the pirates out of the cargo bay.
Oh yeah, that's
and,
right. They freaking just open the bay doors on them.
Well, yeah,
which is pretty cool.
And Bruce was like, they didn't seem very tired, and Kate was like, well, no, they took the stuff. And they're like, how do you know? And she's like, it smells really fishy.
Yeah.
But then again, it was in fish soup, so.
But I took that to mean though that like they had a bunch of fish on the ship from the island because like they were leaving and they didn't really have real supplies because the pirates raided them. That's how I understood it.
Well, and you're probably right because they had been fishing to get fish for Vlad to cook. Yeah, so that's probably why the Cloud Cat was drawn to the ship.
Can we talk about? I know we're talking about like some climax of the book. Can we talk about Vlad for a second? I love the part in the beginning when he's arguing with the other guy and he's like, "Duck? There's no duck on menu. You want me to make duck even though it's not on menu?" And then he just lays out his sharp knives.
Starts getting out his knives. Yeah,
I love that so much.
They're like, you don't mess with Vlad when he starts getting out his sharp knives.
Well, and even when they go to him, like when he's cooking for the pirates, he's like jovial and like cooking with all the passion he has, even for these pirates. Like that's just how much he loves to cook.
A pirate walks in and he's like drinking booze, and Vlad's like, "No, this does not go good with the soup." He's like, He opens another bottle of wine for the guy. Yeah. He's like, "You must have this with this soup." Yeah. He is a very good character.
Funny. Yeah,
I did like that a lot.
Yeah, so the Cloud Cat shows up, and Mr. Crumlin is actually fighting with Cruz, and Cruz is getting his ass kicked because Crumlin he's a beast. He's like the second in command of the pirate guys, so he's awesome.
Yeah, and even though he's like tired and drunk, he is just a huge dude compared to Matt, who basically is like literally a bird.
Yeah. So the Cloud Cat shows up, and Crumlin's just like, "Fuck you," and starts shooting at it, and he ends up shooting the other pirates because he's like all fucked up, obviously.
Oh yeah, man, yeah, the Cloud Cat lands between him and another pirate, and Crumlin turns around and shoots the other pirate. I thought that was awesome.
and then the Cloud Cat just tears him apart in kind of a graphic way.
Yeah, that's kind of where this, and I mean, obviously a teenager, sure, but yeah, you start getting younger than that, and you're like, "Whoa, man, this is pretty violent." Like,
yeah, it kind of gets bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Game of Thrones bad, but yeah, it's pretty bad.
Nobody's fucking their sister, but
I wasn't gonna take it that far, but yeah, exactly.
Spoilers for Game of Thrones.
Just in case no one has seen it or anything,
Yeah.
So anyways,
then they go because they're trying to cut the engines off so that Spearglass can't control the ship anymore.
No. They're
trying to turn the fuel lines.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yes, I was about to say it backwards. Yeah, Matt and because after they cut the ship loose, so it starts to fly, and then they start the engines because they were going to control it from the rear control car, right?
Right. Yeah. And though they already did that, and then he took control over, and they're like, "Fine, we'll just cut the engines."
Yeah.
Because the wind is blowing them away from the island.
Right. Yeah. So Matt and Kate only at this point now because, well, no, that's not true,
not yet.
Bruce was trying to help. He went to one of the engine cars to cut it off.
And yeah, so this right now would be when they're coming up on him, and then freaking Bruce is just dead.
Yeah.
The pirates.
Yeah,
killed
they
him.
go to the last engine car, and yeah, Bruce is just there dead with a bullet hole in the side of his head.
And I've
And
even listened to this before, and I was like, oh, he's coming up on him. He's fine. Like, oh, he's just passed out. I bet from all the blood loss from his leg. Oh no, he's dead.
Yeah, oh no, he's dead. Yeah,
He's
bullet hole in the side of
super
his head. And guess who it was who killed him? It was
Freaking-
Spearglass.
Who is cool anyway? By the way,
He's a pretty good villain.
He's a super good villain. I don't even really feel like he's that evil. He's just a pirate.
Yeah, he's just doing pirate things.
Yeah, he's just doing pirate things.
He's
doing-
not basically he's not doing anything you wouldn't expect him to do when you say he's a pirate. So
Well, and when they show his village and they show how happy all the people are, and then he has a son who's like so happy to see him and all this stuff, and it really humanizes him, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's taking care of his people.
Yeah. And so then I don't really remember, like, does Spearglass find them or do they go find Spearglass?
They like run into Spearglass, right?
Yeah, and Spearglass freaking kicks the shit out of Matt Cruz and like throws him over the side of the ship, right?
Well,
Which he has
Matt
go
runs
ahead.
from him. Matt runs all the way up and out the top of the ship because Matt knows the ship really well. So Matt runs out the top of the crow's nest, and he gets out on the skin of the ship on the outside because he thinks, at least if he can keep Spearglass distracted, then the others could maybe take control of the ship again and whatever. So
Yeah, and so if Spearglass like gets close to him and he asks him, he's like, how did you get out of the hydrant pit? And he's like, I flew. Then he's like, fly again, and just pushes him off the top.
yeah, he basically, I picture him almost like this is Sparta, kicking him in the chest, and then Matt is falling, and he's like, oh, this is how my father fell, and he's like having this vision
that part
as
is
he's
super dark if you ask me.
I know. I
It's like,
kind of
oh my god, this is so sad.
And it even says it's like in slow mo. He's like falling backwards, and he's like, "This is exactly how my father fell, and he couldn't catch
then
anything."
Then he's like, I can't wait to talk to my dad about how flying felt.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, this is so dark.
Except then Matt hits like the end of the ship, and he literally like puts his hands down to catch the ship, and it like, I can't remember how they say it, but it basically evaporates the palms of his hands as he's trying to grab something on the skin of the ship. It just like rug burns his palms off. It's so bad.
And he's like trying to climb up, and then Spearglass fucking puts a harness on and rappels down after him. I love that he puts the harness on. He like goes through all the steps that he's supposed to do just to go down and kill him.
Yeah,
I think that's so cool.
Make sure Matt gets off the ship, because Matt grabs a hold of something like on the rudder and he's hanging on. But then a friend, the Cloud Cat, shows back up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and like knocks Spearglass off balance.
It freaking ex machinas.
Yeah, it does. It saves fucking Cruz's life.
Yeah, because then the Cloud Cat like attacks and falls off the ship with Spearglass, and then the Cloud Cat opens its wings and it flies.
Well, all the other Cloud Cats show up and they all ravage the shit out of Spearglass.
Yeah, they literally, as he's falling, they like dive in, take bites out of him. Some might grab him and carry him up a little bit higher and then drop him again so others can come. Yeah, they just basically pick him apart in the air.
And then Cruz has to, but that one, Cruz does think, he's like, oh my god, what about Spearglass's son?
Yeah, it was kind of a weak little thought right at the end, just
it
to
is a super
remind
weak
us.
thought. I think it's to be like to the people reading, it's like, hey, that guy was a person.
Yeah, don't forget he was a person too, and he had a son. Don't worry about
Table
the kid's
pound.
mother. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So it's just Kenneth. I could see Kenneth Oppel sitting there at his writing desk, and he's like thinking, he's like, "Oh shit, that's right, that guy had a kid. Let me remind everybody of that."
oh shit, I just remembered too.
Yeah.
And so Cruz has to like take control of the airship because they're gonna crash. And he's like, he's doing it like the captain showed him, and he thinks he's hearing the captain in his head, but the captain's actually behind him, talking to him.
Yeah, because Cruz is like steering the ship. Because Cruz's whole, that's like all he wants to do in life is fly his own airship, and now he's doing it. See?
Right.
He's lighter than air, and now he's flying his own airship, and everything's worked out perfectly in the end.
No thanks to Kate.
No thanks to Kate, which then we get this little, like 6 months later type thing, and basically Matt ends up getting accepted to the academy for the things that he did on the ship. Like the captain basically says,
they caught the rest of the pirates.
well, so he's basically getting recognition for what they achieved, and so Matt gets basically a free pass. He gets like a scholarship to go to this academy, whatever. And then he's talking to Kate because they're in Paris, right? She's there because she talked to like the Zoological Society about the cloud cats, and now she's like famous because she discovered these cloud cats, and they're gonna set another voyage to go there.
Well, maybe that's what the other books are about. I don't know.
I don't know. We're gonna have to definitely listen and find out though, because I am kind of curious. Because, like you said, it kind of closes it off at the end.
Yeah, like it's not an unsatisfying ending.
Oh no, it's this by itself is a very satisfying book. The very end too is basically just Matt and Kate like, being teenagers and like flirting, and then it's over. Like
I don't understand. Like, I feel like Kate has no redeeming qualities, like to Matt. Like looking from his perspective, she was so like a freaking burden this whole time,
Yeah,
just causing like freaking strife for him.
He kind of even says as much too.
I know,
like,
he does.
Constantly,
He's so annoyed with her.
Yeah, constantly.
But for some reason, they love each other.
Yeah, and then that's the end of this one. That wraps up this first book in this 3-part series. Which, like I said, I didn't even know there was 3 books, and I definitely
had no
need to
idea.
listen to them.
Yeah.
I do want to go back to something real quick. I wanted to bring this up. So
Okay.
Matt was going to get promoted from cabin boy to junior sailmaker, right?
Correct.
After 3 years of working on board the Aurora. Why was his dad only a junior sailmaker after years and years and years of working on airships?
I thought he was a sailmaker.
No. Only a junior sailmaker. And I only know that because Matt specifically mentions that.
I don't know. Maybe his dad sucked.
I mean, it confused me because I was like, wait a minute, Matt's going from cabin boy, which is literally like the lowest rank I'm assuming you could have, to junior sailmaker, which is the second lowest rank you could have. And he's
I don't
only been
know
doing this
if
for a
it's the
few
second
years.
lowest rank you can have, or if it's like you go like cabin. Like if you wanted to go the route he's going to try and fly the ship, you have to go sailmaker and then something else. Like you have to go that route.
It's basically
instead of something else.
Right. So by lowest rank, I basically just mean like because that's the route he's taking, right?
It is.
So that's like that would become basically his specialty. So now he's a sailmaker as his specialty. He could have probably became like a third-class cook or whatever. I don't know how their structure works, but I just thought that was a weird little point that his father was only a junior sailmaker, but it made it sound like he had been doing that his whole life. So, like,
yeah, I don't know. We don't really get to know much about his dad. I mean, he talks about him, but not like his personality.
I was gonna say, which I'm kind of okay with that though. Like, he did a good job of kind of leaving that up to interpretation.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like, oh my god, what was your dad like? I didn't really care, but
yeah, we didn't really get a lot of Matt. Like, Matt said his father told a lot of stories, but then he wasn't like, and then he gave me a nice whiskey kiss goodnight.
Yeah,
like none of that kind of weird stuff. Like, we didn't get too deep into. We didn't have any like flashbacks of Matt's dad or like side stories of Matt's dad. So, which was okay because this story didn't really need it.
No, it didn't. I think it's good. It's paced well. It's an interesting story. I mean, I don't feel it might surprise you a little bit, like, actually, but
for a first time, definitely for a first time listen, this one will definitely it'll get you to like, oh, what, and then what? Like, this is a good book. And I hadn't listened to this in so long. It it was that way again for me, which was really
yeah,
cool.
me too. I forgot a lot of the things. I do have to complain about like the little music in between the chapters is annoying.
Very unnecessary. Yeah.
It's super dumb. Like, why is this even here?
Yeah, it is pretty unnecessary.
Okay, I'm done complaining though.
Yeah, I think we said all we needed to about Airborn. Definitely highly recommended by both of us. I see this one only has like 436 reviews on Audible, which is very low. It's 4.5 stars, but this is maybe even like a hidden gem almost.
Maybe.
I mean, just judging by the low amount of reviews, for sure, pick this one up. I mean, this is worth a listen for sure.
I agree. Maybe the whole series is worth it, but we're not sure yet.
Like we said too, this is a great juxtaposition and kind of black and white story to the Treasure Island thing, because this is kind of what you get when you take that Treasure Island kind of story and you put a good twist on it.
Yeah.
This is
to be fair,
like
this was written like 50 years later, more than that, like almost
more
100.
than that, because the
200
one was
almost.
written in like the 1800s. So, but that's kind of what I'm saying though, is there's a lot of stories nowadays that follow the same formula that Treasure Island followed, whereas this is like a very, very good take on a similar storyline.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. And this is also, I think, I like this a lot better than freaking dramatizations, but that's just me.
I like this a lot, and I actually wish that there were more books that I could think of off the top of my head that were done this way, because there's really
I really
not
can't.
that many.
The only other one I can think of is like the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe that we had. You remember that?
Yeah. Well, we had that a long time ago on like a huge library of CDs, but same thing. But it was also a full dramatization. There was sound effects and everything. Yeah, so it was a full dramatization, whereas this is not really a dramatization. It's just voiced by more than one person.
Yep. All right. I feel like we've probably said that enough.
Yeah, and I definitely think everybody understands that we fully recommend this one. So,
yeah, we will. Well, so what are we doing next time?
That's a good question. I was actually going to ask you, and we.
Because we got to talk about that.
Yeah, so we were going to put this to a vote for everybody to pick our 2 books for the month, our 2 Audible originals for the month. But if anybody knows a better way to come up with a voting system, let us know, because as of right now, the couple of ways that we are capable of doing, like Facebook and Twitter, only let us have a maximum of 4 options. So, but there's 6 books available, so we need to be able to have all 6 able to vote for.
I mean, there are other things we could do, but I just don't really want to like take you guys to a different website.
Well, and that's just it. I don't like when something's like, to vote, you gotta go over here to clickspace.wiki, blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't really want to do that. As of right now, the best way for everybody would probably be to just shoot us an email. Let us know.
Be the first one.
So what ended up happening, though, is just for September, we just went ahead and picked 2. So which one do you want to do next out of those 2?
Let's do.
But first of all, what are the 2 we picked? We picked Body of Proof and
the Mistwick School of Musicraft.
Yes. Okay. So which one
Let's
do you want to
do Body
do
of
next?
Proof first.
Okay, that's good, because
And actually, the Mistwick one will have to go into October. Because the 26th is the last Thursday of September.
Oh, yeah. So I guess we did kind of. That's right, but that's fine, because that'll be a Thursday, the 3rd in October, and then Friday, the October Audible originals will come out.
Yeah, and if we can't get a voting system down, I don't know what we're gonna do. Just freaking
we'll figure something out.
Picking up.
Yeah, and maybe if this gets big enough, eventually we'll be able to say, hey, head on over to our website, Knights of the Pageless Library, and vote. Maybe.
I think we need at least 6 more listeners a week.
Oh, at least. But, that's it. It could be in the cards in the future.
It could be. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just making a joke.
We also did come up with a list, hopefully for about a year out, for books that we're going to plan on doing.
What do you mean,
we'll also.
It is a year out.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's the schedule we're going to go with right now. So we have a list of the books we're going to go with for about a year from now. So we'll try to find a way to post that so everybody can take a look at that. You'll know kind of what's coming up, other than the Audible originals, obviously, because they are released on the first Friday of every month. So we won't even know until that month which books we're going to be able to do.
Right, and we kind of have gotten rid of the turbo structure already because we have a hard time. 15 minutes is too short for us. It seems like doesn't matter what it is. We could be talking about a coloring book, and it would be 30 minutes long.
Yeah, very few of these will be able to kind of slam into like 15 minutes, so they're probably going to be a little bit longer winded. Sorry if people don't like it. If you want it to go a little faster,
you just get out.
You just get out. Took our jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not going to apologize for that. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, this, in a way, this is just kind of us getting our, we're going to talk about it anyways. So we're just kind of recording our conversation about the book for anybody's entertainment value. So at the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. That's also why we don't really want to edit it. We don't have necessarily a set structure we follow. I know several podcasts I've listened to where it's 2 hosts, and it's very obvious when one of them is reading lines. So
yeah.
We definitely don't want this to turn into that.
No.
Mostly what we want this to turn into is a fun conversation. So like we've said many, many times, start sending us some emails. We'd love to hear from people. Send us some emails, some Twitter, tweet us, whatever that, whatever you do. Twat at us. Facebook at us, YouTube at us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe over there, and notification bell, and whatever else the kids are doing these days.
Soon we'll have a VR game that you can play.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap this episode up there.
Anything else? It's like housekeeping stuff we need to talk about.
I don't think so. If we come up with something, we'll try to put it at the beginning of next episode, just so that it's out there. So,
all right, yeah. All right.
Yeah, we'll hope to catch you guys in the next one.